bit better.
Okay.
That's better?
Yeah, I feel a little bit better. This stuff is juice.
God. Kwame Asherallah, all praises to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. About the water.
About the water.
Hallelujah.
You can use the camera? It was not charged or what?
We're saving it for camp.
No, okay. That's fine.
All right. So, Shalom, y'all. Shalom, Israel. Those that's watching.
Shalom.
We're going to start back in the book of Esther, pick up where we left off.
Well, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Before we get started.
Go ahead, Up.
Can I bring it up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Bro, I forgot.
What is a Gargasite?
Agagite.
Agagite.
Whatever the hell it is.
Let them know, Johanna.
Okay, go to Esther chapter 3, verse 1, just so we can get some understanding.
7, 8.
Esther chapter 3, verse 1.
Okay, wait a minute.
Esther 3:1.
For the viewers watching at home, because they would say in the scriptures, Haman the Agagite. So people will know, well, what's Agagite? Haman, we already know he's that fake Jew, Amalek, in Israel, our land. And the ones you see in Beverly Hills and the ones you see everywhere over here.
God. Amalek.
Amalek. So we'll read Esther chapter 3, verse 1. And it says, after these things did King Hazaris promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite,
Agagite. There it is.
and advance him and set his seat above all princes that were with him. So this Edomite, which is also known as Amalek, fake Jew, was in charge of the most powerful army at that time during the Persian kingdom. It was just one Edomite in charge of all the Persian Empire, and he wanted to use that army to destroy all of Israel. Same thing today.
God.
Now, okay, so we read where it says Haman, the son of Hammedatha, that's the mother, and the Agagite. Where does he get this Agagite from? We can go to 1 Samuel chapter 15. 1 Samuel chapter 15. There's really more to the story. You can read actually 1 Samuel chapter 15, all the chapter, to get the understanding that the Most High had already told us to destroy this nation.
15.
1 Samuel chapter 15.
Let's go straight to the point.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
Verse 8. And then verse 20. Okay. Okay. So when you read that Agagite, you get more understanding. And we're going to get a little bit more understanding.
You said chapter 2?
1 Samuel chapter 15. We're going to get to the point. Verse 8. If you read 1 Samuel chapter 15, that's when Yahweh told King Saul at the time to go and destroy Amalek, all the people, even the animals and them chickens, man, which they were molesting at that time.
Molesting chickens?
They were molesting chickens, man. They were molesting cows. That's what
Touching bull balls. And
Esau molests anything that moves.
Molesting chickens.
Even the hole in the wall.
Even if Esau put it.
He's a perverted individual, man.
Even Esau, there's a video on Facebook that Esau put his thing in the fish's mouth, man.
Okay.
Okay, come on now.
Let's get
the first verse.
People hearing you. Relax.
Esther chapter
3,
3,
verse
right?
1, yeah. Verse 1. And then just for you, Esther chapter 8, verse 3.
Okay, chapter 3.
Just to get a precept on that.
And then what else?
And then 1 Samuel chapter 3.
Give me the next.
Esther chapter
3,
8, chapter 8, verse 3.
No, I'm talking about Esther chapter 3, verse 1 was the first.
And then chapter 8, verse 3. Esther
Okay.
chapter 8, verse 3.
Okay.
And then 1 Samuel.
Okay, then 1 Samuel.
1 Samuel chapter 15, that's what we're going to read, verse 8 and verse 20.
15.
Later, you can all read the whole chapter and you'll have a better understanding.
8 and verse 20.
You'll have a better understanding of what
Yeah, that way you'll be able to explain.
you'll be able to explain more, because you got to go through the history and the genealogy,
Right.
where this demon came from.
Yeah.
Okay. So first Samuel chapter 15,
Verse 8.
verse 8, and it says, and he took And he took Agag, the king of Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. I'm going to read it again. And he took who? Agag. Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive. So obviously he didn't kill everybody, like he had said in verse 3.
The Most High got mad at.
He got mad at him. That means somebody escaped here. Somebody of this nation did not get destroyed completely.
Right.
And look what happens. And look what happens. Years later, you get Haman trying to kill all of Israel. You see? That's
Right.
But you in slavery now behind him.
behind him, yeah. Now, Haman multiplied.
And let them live. And that's why he took the kingdom.
Right. And now Haman, his people are all these fake Jews in Israel.
That's in your land too.
And all in the White House that are running the show and using other nations to kill us, using his own brothers to kill the Israelites.
Use laws to oppress us. Man.
Yeah.
And then you said 20.
Yeah, and then we're going to go. So I'll read verse 8, 1 Samuel 15:8. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. He didn't kill Amalek.
Right.
Verse 20. And Saul said unto Samuel, yeah, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag, the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the Lord, and then verse 21 says, but the people took of the spoil, sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed.
He didn't want them taking nothing because they used to make love to their animals.
Yeah, man. That's why one brother said about going vegetarian, because he don't know if he eats that beef on that cow, if he don't might touch that cow, man.
Yeah.
That's how nasty they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we see how Agag got. That's where Haman comes from, the lineage of Amalek.
Right.
But if we go deeper, a little bit more back, we can go to Genesis chapter 36.
Genesis chapter 36.
Genesis chapter 36. But now when you read Amalek, the Agag, that's where Haman got the Agagite. He comes from this lineage right here.
Agag, yeah.
Agag. But in Hester it's called the Agagite.
36 what?
Genesis chapter 36. And we're going to read verse 12. Well, wait, we'll read verse 1 and 2, and then we'll jump to verse 12.
Okay.
Genesis chapter 36, verse 1, 2, and then we're going to jump to verse 12 to get to the point. Once again, you can later read all Genesis chapter 36.
I already did it, but I mean.
Okay, so we read verse 1. It says, Genesis chapter 36, verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Adah, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Aholiabah, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon the Hivite. And he took wives of the Canaanites. He slept with everybody. That's why he's a whoremonger.
I got a question.
Wait, let me finish. Let me finish. Now let's jump to verse 12. Now this is the genealogy starting with Esau. And he had kids, and those kids had kids, grandchildren. And when you get to verse 12, it says, and Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son. And she bare to Eliphaz who? Amalek. That's where that demon comes from.
Same white.
The oldest grandson of
Yep,
Esau.
this is the oldest.
Yeah.
You see? And that's why when you go to 1 Samuel 15, he says Amalek comes from Esau's generation.
The Dukes.
And that's why Haman, the Agagite, comes from Amalek, and he comes from here, from Esau.
Yeah.
That's how you know he's an Edomite,
So
and he hates us since the beginning.
They're trying to claim something else, and they're Edomites, they're white people, man.
So now you know that Haman probably was a red, pale devil, man, demon, you know.
And notice in the book of Esther, when we was reading it, they was casting lots for our land to the Amalekites. Right. So that's how we know the fake Jews are the Amalekites. Because it was going on back then, even when you look up Herod.
Yeah, Herod, wasn't he Amalek too?
Yeah, and he was also the king of Israel, the southern kingdom.
Rome and put him in position apart.
Right.
To have our people more oppressed.
So that's when all of that started right there. All right, Con. So any more on that? That's it on that.
That's a bit, that's straight to the point. Yeah.
The answer to the question. What you got, Harrell?
I was saying the names, they didn't look like they were in Hebrew.
Huh?
The names.
Which names?
36. Esau took wives from the Hittite.
They wasn't Hebrew.
They weren't Hebrews.
It says
Canaanites,
Canaanite.
Africans,
Read the
Africans,
first chapter, the first
Yeah,
verse.
Canaanites.
Africans.
To be specific, South African, Mandela's people.
Mandela's people.
Mandela.
That's Mandela's people, South Africa.
Adah, the daughter of Elon, Hittite.
Right?
Anyway, I was just wondering.
Well, you can look that up in Deuteronomy chapter 7 when it names you the 7 nations of the Hamites, these Africans. And just like in verse 2, Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan.
Yeah.
And the Most High said, do not make no covenant with the daughters of Canaan. That's how you know that this red devil is not Israelite, and he's not associated or has no covenant, no promise with Israel.
He said the first woman he slept with was an African, South African.
He slept with everybody.
He was hitting everything. Sheep,
Sheep.
Why do you think?
That's why he lived out in the wilderness. That's why he always stank. Remember what Jacob said?
Yeah.
He can tell this ain't me because of the way he smelled.
and when you read 1 Samuel 15, verse 3, why would the Most High Yahweh say, kill every sheep, every ox, every beast, everything?
I've been penetrated.
All been ripped,
and
man.
people think it's just no, the Lord. I mean, to kill every animal,
In the bestiality.
bestiality.
You got to put the animal to death too.
Yeah,
Man, that's
because
disgusting.
he's ruined.
Right. All right. Let's go to Esther.
Hey, eating a steak while it's
Esther
smashed?
chapter 8.
Man.
Is that Esther what?
Chapter 8.
Esther chapter 8.
Come on.
That's good.
God. All praises to Wadi Hunter. To giving that answer.
Chapter 8, verse what?
Chapter 8, first verse.
Okay, cool.
First verse?
From the Jiggity Jumpity.
Esther chapter 8, verse 1.
Anybody there?
All right, bring it up.
Esther chapter 8, verse 1.
Everybody there?
Everybody got it?
Khan.
That's chapter 8, verse 1.
Right before Job.
I can tell you don't open your Bible, man.
Man, it's a brand new
No, I
one.
don't care, man. They all look the same.
No, this was given to me for Christmas gift.
Bro.
I'm just saying, man.
Ain't that crazy?
You know.
Christmas gift. I'm gonna keep reading.
That's not my real sword.
Then you going to read the whole chapter?
That's
The whole chapter?
that's the actual sword.
Okay.
We're going to read from 8, 9, and then 10.
All right.
Chapter 8.
You know what's what?
One page. Go.
Chapter 8, huh?
Chapter 8, verse 1.
One more page.
All right, bring it out, Kevin.
Esther chapter 8, verse 1. On that day did King Ahasuerus give the house of Haman, the Jews' enemy, unto Esther the queen. And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was unto her. And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai. And Esther set Mordecai above the house of Haman. And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite, so-called Malachite, and his device that he had devised against the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Then the king held out the golden scepter towards Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king, and said, "If it please the king, and if I have found favor in his eyes, in his sight, and the things seem right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes, let it be written to revise the letters devised, reverse the king's devised by Haman, the son of Hamadata.
Where's the L at? You got an L in yours? Hamadata.
Hamadata, the Agagite,
Right.
which he wrote to destroy the Jews, which are in all the king's providence.
So remember, he wrote these letters to destroy the Jews. Sent that to all the provinces. Sent it pretty much all around, not the world, but not the fourth part of the world, but the known world at that time. And Esther was like, if it be pleasing, kind of like what she did when she, if it be pleasing, can we kill Haman? You know what I'm saying? So she did the same thing, and Esther was being wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove at this time. She had to take one for the team, really. You know, sleeping with this damn heathen, uncircumcised heathen. But she had to do it in order to save her whole people, man. So she said, if it be a sight in your eyes, reverse some letters you sent out, bring them back so my people can live, right? Because remember, she was hiding the fact that she was a Jew at this time. And you see in verse 1, it said she told him who she was, right? So Esther, man, this is why we have the memorial. The sister went in and saved pretty much the nation at this time. All right, go ahead, brother.
Verse 6. For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come into my people, or how can I endure and see the destruction of my kindred? Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther the queen, and to Mordecai the Jew, behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged it upon the gallows because he laid his hands upon the Jews.
Right.
Written, verse 8. Write ye also for the Jews that is as it liketh you in the king's name, and sealing it with the king's ring, for the writing which is in the writing in the king's name, and sealed with the king's ring, may no man reverse.
So he said, write what you want, pretty much, and I'll sign off on it with my ring. I'm gonna put my stamp on it. Write whatever you need to write. Hey, she found favor in the king's eyes, man. You know, she was very beautiful. For one, she was very beautiful. She was very wise, and not only that, she had the spirit that was with her. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Then were the king's scribes called at that time in the 3rd month, that is the month of Sivan, and the 30th day, the 33rd day,
20th.
The 20th day thereof, it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews, and to the lieutenants, and to the deputies, and rulers of the provinces which are from India into Ethiopia.
So he was rolling from India to Ethiopia, man. Go ahead.
And 127 provinces, unto every province according to the writings thereof, and unto every people after their language, and to the Jews according to their writing and according to their language. And he wrote into the king Ahasuerus, named and sealed it with the king's ring, and sent letters back post on horseback, and sent letters by post on horseback, and riders on mules, camels, and young
dromedaries.
So
they was like, listen, we go, huh? I don't even know. But if you see the context, it was saying they was going to.
Well, he said a donkey, huh?
Mule.
Look,
mule.
Listen.
Probably a donkey.
In the context of it, all you got to do is know that they were sending people on horseback, camels, different horses, anything that they can, because it wasn't no cars, so they was trying to get them letters out there.
Mules and all that.
Go ahead.
All right, verse 11, where the kings granted the Jews were in the city were in every city to gather themselves together and to stand for their life, and destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people and the provinces that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoils of them for a prey. Upon one day in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, namely upon the 13th day of the 25th month, which is a dark.
What day?
Upon the 13th and the 12th month, which is a dark.
So that was what day? A couple days ago, right?
Yeah.
13th day on the 12th month.
3 days ago.
Right? Go ahead.
Verse 13. The copy of the writings for a commandment to be given unto every province was published unto all people, and that the Jews should be ready against that day to avenge themselves on their enemies. So the posts that rode upon mules and camels went out, being hasted it, and pressed on by the king's commandment, and the decree was given at Shushan, the place, the palace.
This word Shushan.
Yeah.
That sounds straight Moab.
Shushan.
It's in Iran.
Shushan. Yeah, that's what it sounds like to
It
you.
sounds
Man.
like something a Moabite would say. Sushan.
All right. I give you Shushan.
Not to change the subject. Verse 10 on Esther chapter 8, verse 10, when it says, and they send letters, a post on horseback, and riders on mules, camels, and young dromedaries. The young dromedaries is a young camel.
Okay, come.
Yeah, any animal that basically could run.
Right. All praises.
Camelback. All right. Verse 15. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel and of blue, where we talked about yesterday about the blue being royalty, and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple, and the city of Shushan rejoiced, and it was glad.
The brother was out there dripping, drippy. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor,
Mhm.
and every providence in the city, in every city, wherever so the king's commandment and his decree became the Jews and had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day, and many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them.
Now here's the thing:
Oh.
a lot of people,
Yeah.
a lot of Christians that try to say they're spiritual Israelites, they'll go to this verse
Right.
and they'll say many other people, see, you can become a Jew, but they didn't become a Jew because they believed in the Most High. It said they became a Jew for the fear of the Jews fell upon them, and they didn't actually become Jews like they didn't no longer be the people that they were, and they just became Jews. No, they started practicing our ways because we was gonna put them to death.
That's it. They was just scared.
They was just scared.
And you know what was cold about this whole shot? What's his name?
Haman.
What Haman had did
Mm-hmm.
was to knock him off, and that shit got flipped on.
Got flipped on his head. Yeah, Con.
Oh, my
Yeah, Harrell, you should have been here yesterday. To man,
Rock too. But
this
Rock
wicked-
watched it.
Con, the wicked king. He was trying to hang Mordecai. He built some gallows,
Setting them up,
and he ended up getting hanged on them same gallows.
the ones he made for him. For
Just like the day before.
Came
What's
back.
his name? What was the old boy name that got it at the point of his
Nicanor.
Nicanor.
Yeah, Nicanor
Same
got
thing.
it done like that. The same thing.
Same way. That's right.
Came back and bit him.
Yeah,
Came
and
back.
his tongue cut out.
And his tongue. That's right. Val Nicanor head.
And then the whole time ain't playing, man. That's why you gotta come out of your folly, man.
That's right.
And you can't accept folly all in this camp, man.
That's
Don't
it.
be
For real.
folly, man. I got a
How you doing, guys?
Back it up.
That's right, man.
little Kenny.
The Most High will destroy you with the same thing that you trying to pursue, man, in your wickedness.
Huh.
All right, Kefir, go ahead. Next word. Next chapter.
Chapter verse 10. Yeah.
Chapter 9.
Okay, chapter 9. Now in the 5th month.
Nope. Chapter 9.
Verse 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to read.
You did, but you said the 5th month.
Now in the 25th, the 12th month.
I might need you to read again.
Come on.
Now in the 12th month.
Uh-huh.
No, it's not that.
Go ahead.
Now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, and on the 13th day of the same,
Mm-hmm.
when the king's commandments of his decree drew near to be put into execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hold to power over them, through it was turned into contrary that we're just talking about right now.
Yep.
That the Jews had ruled over them that hated them, and the Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of King Ahasuerus to lay hand on such as sought their hurt, and no man could stand them, for the fear of them fell upon all the people.
Right.
Like he said, they didn't do it because of the Most High. They did it out of
Fear.
God. And they're going to do the same thing in the kingdom.
In the kingdom, man, they're gonna say that, yeah, man, from this tribe.
That's right.
Yeah, you can't trust the devil.
Devil dog, man.
Huh? They be pouring blood in the book.
Bring it out.
Verse 2.
Yep.
Verse 2.
3.
Con, verse 3.
Verse 3. All the rulers of the provinces and the lieutenants and the deputies and officers of the king helped the Jews because of the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout all the provinces. For this man, Mordecai waxes greater and greater.
Yeah, at this time, Mordecai's kind of like how Joseph was in the Egyptians' kingdom, and he had a high ranking place.
Wow.
They put Mordecai up there, even though he was in the heathens, but he had high favor.
Amazing, man, because Daniel had a position like that.
Yep.
Mordecai, Joseph.
Con.
Yeah, man.
Con.
Okay, hold on. Mordecai's nationality was what?
He's
Benjamin.
Hebrew.
He's an Israelite.
He's from the tribe of Benjamin,
Yeah, tribe of Benjamin.
Benjamin.
a so-called Jamaican today.
Right.
So you could say that Esther would be a so-called Jamaican, right?
So-called.
Yeah, I believe so too. Yeah.
Because there were uncles from Benjamin.
So they
Yeah.
built the
Yeah.
public cut.
Yeah.
That was-
That's why brothers in Israel believe that, Jamaicans got the baddest women because of Esther.
no, at that time,
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you, boy. They cut like
at that time,
cut, man.
she was the most beautiful woman at that time. Just like
Sure.
Job's daughter at that time, we
Right,
had the
right.
most beautiful daughters at that time.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, they
All the women of Israel are beautiful. The
It's
nations,
like, who's that other sister
the
that
nations, I don't know.
I would agree with
Not-
you.
not no Filipino, bro.
Yeah.
we talking about the tribes?
No, I'm talking about the nation. The Filipinos aren't attractive at all.
Well,
That's
they're
a
heathens
That's a lie.
What?
as a whole.
Some of them fine.
They look like shoe shag.
I ain't gonna sit around here and tell you that. Yo.
Ever since he said it.
Moab, Ammon.
Mm-mm.
But see, every nation got beautiful women, but as a whole, our women are the
As
best.
a whole
man.
nation.
That's right.
I know.
Israel.
Dog.
Even our ugly women look better than some of these bad other heathens.
Supposedly badass what they look like.
Yeah,
Man, you know, y'all
because I see the beauty in them. All
Yeah.
right, let's get back to it.
That's just what, chapter 4? No, chapter
Five.
5.
Hold it down, hold it down.
Yeah, but they was just people.
Hold it down, hold it down, hold it down. Verse 5.
All right, Esther chapter 9, verse 5. Thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter and destruction, and did what they would unto those that hated them.
Mm.
And Shushan, the palace, the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men. And
Parshandata.
Parshanatha,
Parsh.
Parshanatha,
Close enough.
Parshanatha.
Close enough.
All right, and Dalphon and Aspatha and Portwortha and Adala
Right.
and Aridatha
Right.
and Paramathia
That's why you want him to read today.
and Arisa and Arida and I can't say that.
Vaizata.
Vaizata. the 10 sons of Haman and the sons of Hemediah, the enemy of the Jews, slew they, but on the spoil laid they not their hand.
We put them to death because of these terrible names, to be honest.
Yes.
We was like,
That's
we can't be
right.
walking around calling y'all these
Yeah,
names.
man.
Like, y'all got to die.
It said the enemy of the Jews.
Cut his tongue, yeah, right.
It says the enemy of the Jews. Look.
Right. I don't know if y'all
Shane
y'all
to
remember,
name,
but I'm gonna bring this up. In the previous chapters, remember it was talking about when Haman wrote them letters, he wanted the day when he executed that plan to be the same day that we celebrate our day, the 13th day. And it's funny, that's why it said we celebrate that day, and it became a coincidence or it's the same day they wanted to kill us, right?
Was it a causality?
Yeah, the Most High.
No, it says
the only thing that they wanted to, the same thing he did to Pharaoh, man. He flipped everything.
It
That's
was
right.
chapter 8.
It says like
I think so.
Let me see.
He called it a
coincidence.
kinda, but it
Going
wasn't.
back to chapter 8, you said?
No, I'm just looking for something.
Well, verse 1 and on the verse 9, chapter 9, verse 1, right there.
And the
Read that.
The 20th.
Oh, yeah.
Chapter 9,
No,
verse 1.
Read 9 and 1 again.
Yeah.
Read again.
Verse 9 and 1. Now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, and on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew near to be put into execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped it to have power over them, though it was turned to contrary.
It was turned to the contrary. There you go. That the Jews had ruled over them that hated them. Man, the Most High
Flipped it on.
So
flipped it.
Haman knew about the destruction of the Greeks. See,
He wanted to do it that same day.
he wanted to do it.
Yeah, because he didn't.
Well, this
want to
before,
have
though.
that
This is
glory.
before, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, he knew
He'll go all that way to do
The
it.
Most High knew.
the Most High knew. Yeah.
All right, let's jump back to where was we at? Verse
Verse 10.
10. Con.
Verse 10, and the 10 sons of Haman, the son of Hamadatha, the enemy of the Jews, slew they, but on the spoil laid they not their hand.
Go ahead.
And on that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan, the place was brought before the king, and the king said unto Esther the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men in Shushan the palace, and the 10 sons of Haman, what have they done in the rest of the king's providence? Now what is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee, or what is thy request further? And it shall be done. Then said Esther, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan to do tomorrow according unto this day's decree, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged. Oh my God, be hanged upon the gallows.
That's right.
On the same gallows that they did.
Same gallows. I'm the sons, man. Go ahead.
You don't play with the Most High, man.
Shushan, and they hang Haman's 10 sons.
Con.
that quick.
Yeah. Upon the gallows.
This is 12.
Nah.
14, 9 and 14. Verse 15, for the Jews that were slain in Shushan gathered themselves together on the 14th day also of the month of Adar, and slew 300 men at Shushan, but on the prey they laid not their hand.
Right?
Talking about on their goods.
Yeah.
Right.
They didn't take none of the booty.
So this is the next day. This is why we do day 2.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
But the other Jews, they were in the king's providences, gathered them together, and stood for their lives, and had rest for their enemies, and slew for their foes 70 and 5,000, for they laid not their hands on the prey.
75,000.
Who you?
Go ahead.
Verse
A lot
7.
of people, man.
Yes.
Verse 17, on the 13th day of the month of Adar, and on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness.
Con. That's right.
But the Jews that were at Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th thereof, and on the 14th day of the same they rested.
15th day.
On the 15th day of the same rested, and it made it a day of feasting and gladness.
Right?
2 days, right?
Yeah, 2 days. Huh? Therefore, for the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns, unwalled towns, Adar, a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, the 3rd day, and of sending portions one to another.
Right?
And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in the providences of the kings and of the king Ahasuerus, both nigh and far.
Both near and far, right?
Yeah, both near and nigh and far. To establish this among them, that they should keep the 4th day,
14.
on the 14th day of the month, and the 15th day of the same year.
Right. So
2 days.
this is when we got the decree to keep this as a memorial.
That's right.
And you got these wicked damn, they Israelites, but they talking about we only got to keep what's right? They don't believe in keeping the Hanukkah, the Feast of Dedication.
Feast of dedication.
They don't.
And Christ kept feast
And
of
Christ
dedication.
kept it, but some of these old LT only, they don't believe in Christ. So
A lot of them don't believe that he did the miracles that he did.
a lot of them don't even believe he existed,
Man.
which is wild. That's why I did that video the other day. They not in the truth.
That's what I'm saying. They can't.
Why are they Christians?
Well, I'm not gonna say they're not in the truth, but I will say
If
they don't believe in Christ.
If they don't believe in him, then they not in the truth. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Everything is based on him.
That's true.
You got to believe everything.
They
in the
know who they
Bible.
are, but they wicked.
OT only They don't believe that the word Yahushua
Is the word of
is the
anything.
word of anything.
They don't believe in the whole New Testament.
Yeah,
They think it's rewritten.
So Yahushua is just a made up name.
They don't believe in Yahushua as a person.
Yeah.
He's a man.
They don't believe he even existed. What they believe, and here's the thing, this is why I did that video. The Old Testament prophecies about Christ, what do you do with that? A lot of them say that it's King David. He gonna come back. But that's why I put in the video, if he's gonna come from the seed of David, how could it be David?
It says, see, not actually David.
You know,
Shoot the story of Sodom and Gomorrah.
So they think the artifacts is fake.
they don't even know about the artifacts. These people don't do research. You know, a lot of them, they get strayed away by the fact that their elder believed in this and it taught them, but they didn't look it up on their own, so this is what they believe. You know what I mean? So they're not going to believe in keeping these memorials and keeping the feast of dedication and all of that.
Look, another artifact I'll bring up. There's an artifact they found that had the name of Pontius Pilate and it had the name of Yahushua during the time where he got executed. They gave him the execution.
Crucified, yeah.
Yeah, they have it's like a little stone that has Pontius Pilate's name in Greek
Yeah.
and it has Yahushua's name in Greek.
Man, there's other civilizations that wrote about Christ. You look up Tacitus, you know, you look up there's another guy, but he's been written about.
Yeah.
If you don't believe in the Bible, there's still other civilizations that wrote about
Other
it.
sources, right?
So hold on. Old Testament only, they believe in the Apocrypha?
I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, but they probably would say it's added too, you know.
Well, then they pick and choose what to believe.
God.
Okay, I feel
But I
like
pray for my OT only brothers that they, you know, they
Okay.
find out what's
believe in
going on
this,
before
but I
it's
don't
too
wanna
late.
do that.
All right, finish where you at.
All right, 22. Esther chapter 9, verse 22. And the days wherein the Jews rested for their enemies, and the month which was turned to them from sorrow to joy, and from mourning unto a good day, they that should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor. And the Jews undertook to do as they had begun, and as Mordecai had written unto them, because Haman, the sons of Mediath, and the Mediath the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast lots, pure. How do you say that? Puri?
It had Casper.
Casper, that is the lot to consume them and to destroy them.
This is why it's called the feast. Well, we'll find out. Keep reading.
All right. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by the letters that his wicked devices, which he has devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his son should be hung on the gallows.
Came back on him.
Right.
Wherefore they called these days Purim, and the name of Purim. Therefore, for all the words of this letter and of that which they have seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them.
So you see, they call it Purim after Pur, which means lot, because they was trying to cast lots on our people, and they got casted lot upon and got
On
put on the
themselves.
gallows. All praises. Go ahead.
Verse 27. And the Jews ordained it and took upon them and upon their seeds, and upon such as joined in themselves unto them, so as it should not fail that they should keep these 2 days. So these Israelites saying that it's not in the 613 commandments, even saying right there they kept it upon their seeds. So
Right. It's a memorial.
it's a memorial. So
It's not a feast day as far as what the Most High ordained us in the Torah, but it's a memorial. And I'm keeping anything Christ kept.
Man.
and everybody they killing are Gentiles.
Yeah.
Yes,
All of them.
absolutely.
Eat.
Oh, this is evil. Wow.
They're killing anybody that comes against us in the Persian captivity.
Okay.
We're killing. That's coming against us.
Okay.
But most of them Agagites.
You love that word, man.
That's a cold, man.
As soon as we see the red face, the white face,
You don't even have to say
He
it
said-
no more. You can just say you Agagite. Yeah, be like that. How did he know?
Hey, Rabbi Yahoo call him an Agagite, man.
I
Right.
say, what's an acting guy? But I like it.
Verse 28.
Yeah.
All right, verse 28. That these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation.
Throughout when?
And kept throughout every generation.
Nah, just that time.
And kept throughout every generation.
Uh-huh.
Every family, every providence, every city, that these days of Purim should not fail among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed.
God.
Then Esther, the queen, the daughter of Abigail, and Mordecai and the Jews wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Purim.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent the letters unto all the Jews, to the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Assyrius, with words of peace and truth. 31. To confirm these days of Purim and their times appointed according as Malachi the Jew and Mordecai and the Jews and Esther the queen had
Right.
Mordecai the Jew and Esther the queen had joined them, and as they had decreed for themselves and for their seed the matters of the fasting and the matters of the fasting and their cries, and the decree of Esther confirming these matters of Purim, and it was written in the book.
It was written in the book.
Mm.
Right?
The Bible.
The Bible.
The Bible.
Excuse me.
Right? So this is where you see that it became a memorial and something that we kept throughout since that day. Now let's go to verse 10.
Book 10.
Chapter 10, yeah.
So
Now this is where, as you see, it's only 3 verses of chapter 10.
Yeah.
Because the rest of it is in the Apocrypha.
the missing books.
That's more proof that the Apocrypha is a part of the Bible.
That's right.
Even though they tried to knock it, I had to show that to my brothers as well.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Con.
They was over there like, I'm like, yeah.
They say,
They don't really believe in the Apocrypha.
So it literally starts, look, from 10, look, all the way down. Look.
They don't even
Exactly.
ask the question like, why would they delete these books? Well, they just think that if they wasn't canonized, they say. But I was like, yeah, they was in the Bible. They took it.
right.
Yeah, it was in the 1611.
Take it out.
Any-
My Bible in 1611.
They still
They
didn't believe.
they couldn't read it because it's in old English.
Right.
They was looking at me like I was crazy.
Any person saying that they don't believe in the Apocrypha, you're basically siding
They never
with.
dealt with it, so they really don't know.
They're basically siding with Martin Luther
Yeah, pretty much.
because he lost that debate. He
Yeah.
lost that debate, and that's how they
Right.
started printing them without the Apocrypha.
Yeah. That's
And he was a white man too, right?
Of course, he's a white man. He's a damn vile, wicked man.
So
Christianity.
German.
Right.
German.
But he's still in Edomite, same thing.
German is
So it's really not German.
Then
It's Deutsch.
Deutsch.
Right.
Deutsch.
Zid-
It means,
Ziddeutsch.
hey, what's that
Yeah, that son is
that German word that means that it means black? I mean Schwarzer.
Schwartz or swarthy.
Martin
Yeah.
Luther wanted exactly what Haman wanted for us, to exterminate the Jews. He wanted to kill us all.
Did y'all notice that Arnold
He's the
Schwarzenegger
one who deleted the
means
Bible.
black nigger?
Schwartz means
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I'm black.
So that's how you know that his last name came from the original people that was
Right.
there that was actually black.
the Byzantine Empire.
Byzantine Empire.
We ruled the Edomites.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The short, the
Schwartz means black.
Swarthy.
Swarthy, yeah.
Oh,
Con.
Yeah, they stole that land too.
So,
Just,
Yeah,
just like Scott. Scott means black too.
yeah, Scott.
Yeah.
So Martin Luther Scott was black, right?
Yeah,
Martin Luther
Scotland.
got the
Ireland too.
Scotland deleted. Yeah.
Ireland.
Yeah, he lost the
He lost
debate,
the
right? And then he started printing Bibles without the Apocrypha.
And they just went along with it.
And they just kept it.
Yeah.
Not every Bible, but the ones he was printing, which was a lot of them.
Right.
oh.
that go to King Elizabeth.
That's how
in China you can't even have a King James Version Bible.
in China.
You'll be jailed for having a King
It's
James.
cool. We'll kill them all.
Google that. That's some
According to the
crazy
Most
stuff.
High. All right.
More don't deserve that.
Chapter
book.
10, let's bring it out.
All right, verse 10. Want me to read verse 10 all the way to the part of the
Chapter 10, verse 1.
Okay.
Nah, because they got to get it. And unless y'all already got it.
I got it.
Just go.
All right, go ahead.
verse 10 and 1, and the king Ahasuerus laid in tribute upon the land and upon the isles of the sea, and all the acts of his power and his might, and the declaration of the greatness of Mordecai, where unto the king advanced him, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Media and Persia?
Now, how come them damn people don't be trying to talk about that part of the Bible?
Right.
Yeah, book of Chronicles.
But they only say Enoch and Jubilees and what's the other one?
Jasher.
And Jasher. But this Bible talks about so many. We did a lesson on that. You got the book of Edo. You got the book of Shemaiah. You got the
Nathan.
I think
Dathan.
everybody had a book, they just didn't put them in.
Yeah,
Anybody that was dealing with the Most High wrote down chronicles of what they did.
that's right. That's right.
You know, they just didn't put them all in.
It said that these
Because they were not important.
written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Media and Persia. Go to Iran and get that book.
Right, right.
You know?
So a heathen nation has something to do with the deletion of the Apocrypha.
No, not every nation.
I
But,
said a heathen.
oh, the heathen, yeah,
Yeah,
man.
just
Yeah,
the ones
the
that are power.
Edomites.
The Bible's not for them, so of course they want it destroyed. They want it to keep away the truth from us, you know?
All right, go ahead, brother.
All right, verse 3. For Mordecai the Jews was next unto King Ahasuerus, and king among the Jews, and accepted of the multitude of his brethren, seeking the wealth of his people, and speaking peace into all his seed.
So it said he was the king of Ahasuerus and great among the Jews. He definitely wasn't king among the Jews.
Additions to Esther. So he showed the Apocrypha.
Yeah, why are you yelling at us?
Because I'm over here.
He said that wine head.
That's Brother Raul in the background, in case y'all like, who is that? All right, now let's go to the Apocrypha, and we're going to go to the editions of Esther. Sometimes it's not there, though, right? Sometimes it's not, or am I thinking of the rest of Jeremiah?
The editions of Esther? It's there?
No, I know, but sometimes it doesn't say it. Or am I thinking
And
of
four.
the Jeremiah one?
The one that's missing, that's also in the Apocrypha también.
Yeah,
Yes,
Oh,
Esther starts
well,
10 and
sometimes
4.
it'll say,
something else, huh?
yeah, it'll either say the Epistle of Jeremiah, or it'll say just Baruch chapter 6.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking
It'll
of.
say
Okay.
Baruch chapter 6, or it'll say the letter
Oh, Jeremiah.
of
Letter of
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but this is everybody should have this in theirs, right? The letter of Esther.
Yes, it's
Okay.
all there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the Apocrypha.
No, I know that, but sometimes it doesn't always say.
It don't say what
It'll just be there.
like it says Ecclesiastes or Sirach, the book of Sirach.
No, the example was perfect that he gave.
Okay.
Sometimes it'll say Baruch, and sometimes it'll say letters of Jeremiah.
Right.
Right.
The epistle.
Yeah. Yeah, where my rest of Esther at? Oh, you off.
Folly.
Hey, you know who does that a lot, bro? Joel's camp. They'll be like, see the brother wicked. Hey, funny, man. All right. Where is my I'm wicked because I can't even find the rest of Esther.
You're in Sirach, bro.
I've been following.
Folly. He's thinking about his life. He's thinking about the scriptures. Right?
God. All right. Yeah, Sirach is long.
Yeah, I gotta meet those brothers too. You seen them up in Washington?
Yeah. Yeah, I met him out there in Washington. All right, go ahead and bring it out, Kevin.
All right. Kevin. All right.
So this is picking up from chapter 10.
All right. Editions of Esther in the Apocrypha, verse 4. Then Mordecai said unto God, God has done these things.
Now, real quick, the Apocrypha was in the Greek captivity. So you're going to see like Mordecaius.
Right.
It's going to be different names, but it's these people.
They're still in the same timeline.
Okay.
For I remember a dream which I have seen concerning these matters, and nothing thereof hath failed. A little fountain became a river, and there was light, and the sun, and much water. This river is Esther, whom the king married and made queen.
Mm.
And
They named the river after him.
Hey, I had a dream. Martin Luther King. I had a dream. Again.
You and Fowler.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
white people get to hold hands with black people. Equally. Go to school with each other.
All equal, all brown equality.
Chapter 7.
While they was putting you in
Verse 7.
slavery
Verse 7.
behind your back.
And the two dragons are I and Amen.
That's Haman.
Haman right there.
Haman,
Yeah.
And the nations were those that were assembled to destroy the name of the Jews. And for my nation is this Israel, which cried to the Most High, and were saved it, for the Lord has saved his people, and the Lord has delivered us from all those evils. And the Most High, who sought signs and who wrought signs and great wonders, which have not been done among the Gentiles. Therefore hath he made two lots, for one for the people of God, and the other for all the Gentiles.
Mm.
And see, that's another thing, man. How they always try to bring these Gentiles in, what they call spiritual Jews,
Right.
and all this crap.
Spiritual Israelites.
They're done.
Yeah,
Now-
he ain't with that, man.
Real quick,
Spiritual Edomites.
read verse 9 again.
Verse 10 gives us a difference.
All right, verse 10, read verse 10.
Read verse 9 again.
All right. And my nation is this Israel, which cried to the Most High, and were saved it, for the Lord has saved his people, and the Lord hath delivered us from all those evils. And the Most High brought signs and great wonders, which have not been done among the Gentiles.
Now, real quick, precept. Matthew 1 and 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushai, for he shall save his people from their sins. Saying the same thing right there.
From his sins, not anybody's sins.
From their sins, that's right. So how the heck is,
It's
because
singular.
a lot of the Christians talk about, well, it changed in the New Testament. This New Testament clearly saying the same thing it's been saying in the whole Bible.
Man.
Right? Go ahead, brother.
All right. Therefore hath made two lots, one for the people of the Most High,
Who's the people of the Most High?
the Israelites,
And go ahead.
and others,
And
another for all the Gentiles.
There's a difference there.
There's a difference. That's right.
And these two lots came at the hour and time, and the judgment and the day of judgment before the Most High among all nations.
Mm.
To God's and the Most High remembered his people and justified his inheritance. Therefore those days shall be unto them in the month of Adar, the 14th and 5th day of the same month.
15.
The 14th and 15th of the day of the same month, with an assembly and the joy with gladness before the Most High, according to the generations forever among his people.
Among his people. That's right. So you see, it's talking about this the memorial for his people. This is why they took the Apocrypha out. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Verse 11 and 1. In the 4th year of the reign of Ptolemy and Cleopatra and Dositheus, who said he was a priest and a Levite, and Prometheus,
Ptolemy,
and Ptolemy his son brought this epistle of Purim, which they said was the same, and that Lysimachus, the son of Ptolemy, that was in Jerusalem, had interpreted it. In the 2nd year of the reign of Artaxerxes, in the great day of
which is King Ahasuerus.
There's the Xerxes from
There's
300.
Xerxes, that's right.
In the Greek.
It's his Greek name. That's right.
Oh man.
Let's read it again from 2.
Okay, verse 2. In the 2nd year of the reign of Xerxes, the great in the 1st day of the month Nisan, Mordecai, the son of Jairus, the son of Semiah, the son of Esau of the tribe of Benjamin, had a dream, who was a Jew and dwelt in the city of Susan, a great man, being a surveyor in the king's court. He was also one of the captives which Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, carried from Jerusalem with Jerichus, king of Judah, and this was his dream. And behold, a nose a noise of a tumult, and with thunder and earthquakes and uproar in the land. And behold, 2 great dragons came forth ready to fight, and their cry was great.
Now go back to verse 7 of the last chapter.
Verse 7.
Go to the beginning.
Okay. Verse
2
1.
dragons.
Okay, the 2 dragons. All right, verse 6. And behold, 2 dragons.
No. The last chapter, verse 7.
Yeah, that is
Okay, 16.
chapter 10.
Yeah,
You said the last
Just go back up to chapter 10.
Just chapter 10, verse 7.
10:7.
And the 2 dragons are
Okay.
I and
Okay,
Haman.
I got you. All right. And the 2 dragons are I and Haman.
So he's letting you know, he's giving you like a preface or a preview into the dream he's about to have and tell you what's going on. But he's telling you who the 2 dragons are in that last chapter. So back to 11:7.
11:7.
And at their cry, all nations were prepared to battle, and they might fight against the righteous people. And lo, a day of darkness and obscurity, tribulation and anguish, affliction and great uproar upon the earth. And the whole righteous nation was troubled, fearing their own evils, and were ready to perish.
And see, that go back to that verse also,
Yeah.
where it was telling you the fear of your life, that you wish it was day, then you wish it was night.
Right.
That's in Deuteronomy. Yeah, it's talking about how you
The
live
curses,
in
right?
fear of your life.
Yeah.
Man,
Right.
continuously, man.
Right. God.
There's
Wish it
no
was day,
assurance
wish it
of
was
thy
night.
life. There's no assurance of thy life.
Now, more.
We there now. We there like that.
So like that in common.
Yeah, that verse 10.
It's like that anyway. Because the cops are kids.
The cops are key, right?
God.
And then you see a brother on the corner, you ain't never seen him before. You don't know what his spirit is on.
No, you don't know.
That's right.
Verse,
Go ahead. Verse 9.
verse 10. When they
No,
cried
verse
unto
9.
verse 9.
Verse 90.
And the
He didn't
whole,
read that.
My nation.
and the whole righteous nation was troubled, fearing their own evils, and were ready to perish.
Mhm.
Then they cried unto the Most High, and upon their cry, as they were from a little fountain, was made a great flood, even much water.
Yeah.
That's a metaphor right there.
God.
The light and the sun rose up, and the lowly were exiled and devoured the gorgeous.
The lowly were exalted.
Oh, and devoured the glorious.
Come on.
All right, verse 12. When Mordecai, who had seen this dream and what the Most High had determined to do, was awake, he bare his dream in mind until night. By all means, was delirious to know it.
Desirous.
Oh, desirous to know it.
Uh-huh.
And verse 12. And Mordecai took his rest in the court with Gabiath and Therat and two eunuchs, the king and the keepers of the palace.
Right.
And he heard their devices and searched out their purpose, and learned that they were about to lay hands upon upon Xerxes the king. And so he, hey man,
What's going on?
I didn't know why he's back there.
Read
And
2
so-
again.
All right, verse 2. And he heard their devices and searched out their purposes, and learned that they were about to lay hands upon Xerxes the king. And so he certified the king of them. Then the king examined 2 eunuchs, and after them they had confessed it, that they were strangled.
Mm.
And the king made a record of these things, and Mordecai also wrote thereof.
Right.
So the kings commanded Mordecai to serve in the court, and for this he rewarded him.
So Mordecai was in there with the eunuchs, and they was talking, and they was gossiping, and they was like, "Yo, we gonna kill Xerxes." and Mordecai told Xerxes, and he strangled the eunuchs, and that's how Mordecai got favor with Xerxes. Right.
And see, they might have been speaking another language, and they didn't think he understood.
Right.
What he was saying.
Right. But remember, Mordecai also, if I'm not mistaken, was in the Babylonian captivity as well, right? Or am I tripping?
He had to be.
He came with them.
Yeah.
It just shows that they were just in the captivity of the Persians. Yeah.
Okay.
The one that did go into double was Daniel.
I know
With the
that.
Babylonians, and then he went over
Yeah,
to the
with the
Persians.
Think about it though. Mordecai wasn't no kid. He was old during this time.
I think I just read where I'll go back and restudy it.
Xerxes didn't do nothing but take over what the Babylonians left on.
But
Right.
I'll say this: Mordecai was kind of like an ambassador representing Israel, just like Daniel, just like Joseph.
Mhm.
These brothers knew at least 5 to 10 languages.
Right.
In order to be an ambassador, you had to learn the Persian. Just like back in those days, in Christ's times, the most popular languages was Latin, Greek, and Hebrew.
Right.
Now it's Spanish, English, and French.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
so you have to know languages to communicate. They underestimated him, and he understood what they were saying. He definitely knew 5, 10 languages because he said he kept the Most High's commandments.
Amen. And they were speaking in those two eunuchs, probably speaking in different languages.
Right. Go ahead.
So this chapter 13, right?
No, this is 12 and
12
6. We
verse
go
6.
the last verse.
We're almost there.
Almost.
We're almost there.
Howbeit, Haman, the son of Hamatthias, the Agagite, who was in great honor with the king, sought to molest Mordecai, man.
That's off.
Man, you see what I mean?
That's off.
Caleb, man, all that came to that one scripture you're talking about this whole time, man. And sought to molest Mordecai and his people because of 2 eunuchs of the king.
Right. So they got mad at
Dirty
that.
bastard.
They got mad that he got found favor in Xerxes' eyes.
So sought to molest Mordecai and his people because of the 2 eunuchs of the king. The eunuchs and him were the wicked ones that wanted to overturn everything.
Right.
You know?
Homosexuality in the land.
They wanted Haman to be king. Go ahead.
13, additional Exodus 13, verse 1. A copy of the letters was this. The providences.
What? Read it. Try it again.
Okay. Because my phone's cracking up.
Okay.
The son of the letters was this. The great king of Xerxes written these things to the princes and governors that they were under him from India unto Ethiopia in 107 and 20 providences.
That's 127.
107 providences.
27.
Okay, he said that. All right. After that, I became Lord over many nations and had dominion over the Lord over the whole earth, not lifting up with presumptions of my authority, but carrying myself always with equity and mildness.
Mm-hmm.
I proposed it to settle my subjects continually in a quiet life and making my kingdom peaceable and open for passage to the utmost coast and to renew peace, which is desired of all men.
Go ahead.
About his money.
Mm-hmm.
He kept it open. If you keep your hand like this, you can't get nothing in and nothing out.
Yeah.
But if you keep it like that, it flows.
Yes, sir.
Verse 3. Now when I asked my counselors how this might be brought to pass, Haman, that excelled in wisdom among us and was approved for his constant good, steadfast fidelity, and had the honor of the place in the kingdom, declared unto us that in all nations throughout the world there was scattered a certain malicious people that had laws contrary to all nations. See, there is. That's talking about us, man. And continually despise the commandments of the kings. So as a unity of our kingdoms honorably intended by us cannot go forward. Seeing them, then we understand that this people alone is continually in opposition to all men, differing in strange matters of their laws and evil affected to our state, according to all the mischief that our kingdom may not firmly establish.
Right.
That's why you ain't supposed to vote.
I don't know, man.
See, if y'all notice, man, Esau cannot have somebody who's just doing their own thing. It burns them up, man.
Yeah.
Right.
They could take a rowboat over to like a small island and they got to conquer them and give them white Jesus because they can't just let somebody just beat.
No, because it'd be like they not over you. See,
Exactly.
They had the mindset that they had to be over you.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't want to live peaceably with men.
Mm-hmm. Not if they're not doing the same thing they doing.
Yeah,
You see, it says that. It says that. Where's it at?
Verse 5.
That they had laws contrary to all nations and continually despised the commandments of kings. Because we had our own king.
Yeah.
How about Shimmy Shai, man?
Most High.
See, that goes to show you that we don't obey the laws
of the land.
Of the land
Uh-oh.
with them heathens.
We're striking a chord on
You
some
see what I mean?
camps.
If it has to do anything against the Most High's commandments, the hell with that nation or the hell with whoever's in charge.
That's right. So if all you brothers talking about we got to obey the laws of the land, we do, but it ain't no sin if you break them. We had a brother come and talk about if you pee outside, that's a sin. That's folly, man. Folly and madness.
He said if you go 1 mile
Over the
it says
speed limit,
35 miles and you go 36, you wicked.
you in sin.
Because you breaking Esau's laws.
So he in the letter of the law.
Right. Right.
He's a letter of the law.
But what is sin, Aki?
He got Esau blood.
Sin is the breaking of the commandments of God.
Transgression of the
Esau
law.
go a mile over the speed limit.
A mile.
And,
I'm just saying.
and he fought arm in hammer
He
for
does.
Esau. He was fighting, and that brother honestly had double fringes on.
He did have double
He had
fringes.
double fringes, 2 shirts on fringes, man.
Okay.
What was wrong with this guy?
What was that?
Some brother, I mean, you know, he's not here to defend himself.
Okay, I met him at
Yeah,
Superior.
it's a good thing he's
I
not
brought
here.
him. I brought him to the camp, and
He
he
would
did
be-
the same shit that the Babbler did, man. He just went off, bro.
He's probably somewhere keeping the speed limit.
Folly.
Yeah,
All right,
is
go
he
ahead.
gonna listen to Esau on getting that vaccine too?
They be
Yeah.
defending the Babbler man. His name Joseph.
Joseph, man.
You know, when you first come into the word, you come in looking weird to somebody that's been in for like 2 years, 3 years.
More.
So it be the spirit that's on them that be feeling like, hey, I can say what I want to say because now I'm an Israelite.
Right.
And so, not to say it's right, but they start off a little bit weird, and you got to correct them and get them to calm down a little bit.
And then brothers don't want no correction sometimes.
Like the chicken creepers. I mean,
Sirach 32:17, they don't want no correction.
Right.
You know? And this brother was all for Esau, that you need to obey him and his laws. You know, Esau has over 40,000 laws on the book,
and you don't keep
and
them.
we have trouble keeping 613 God's commandments. How you gonna listen to homosexual law? You talk about, you know,
We have trouble keeping 10 commandments.
You can't even say the word faggot. They got a law on the radio.
You can say punk though, because when they say something to
But not
you,
punk
you say,
bitch,
this
right?
is a piece of wood.
Yeah.
So they can't say nothing to you. Or you can call them a wild dog because they don't know the scripture. That's what they was talking about when they called people wild dogs. They were almost snatched.
Good.
You say the word
Come on,
faggot,
let's get back to the. Come on.
back, verse 6.
Oh,
Chapter 13, verse 6.
All right, verse 6.
yes.
And it said, therefore have we commanded them all that they are signified, and to write it unto you by Aman, who is ordained over the affairs and is next unto us, shall all with their wives and children be utterly destroyed by the sword, and of their enemies without all mercy and pity. The 14th day of the 12th month of Adar, this is this year present.
So this is the decree that they gave to kill us. That's what it's talking about right here. But y'all know we flipped that date and made it our memorial. But go ahead.
Verse 7, that they who of old and now also are malicious may in one day with violence go into the grave and see ever and so ever hereafter cause our affairs to be well settled without trouble.
Mhm.
Then Mordecai thought upon all the works of the Most High and made his prayer unto him, saying, O Lord, Lord, the King Almighty, for the whole world is in thy power, and if thou hast anointed to save Israel, there was no man that can gainsay thee.
Right.
For thou hast made heaven and earth and all the wondrous things under the heavens, that thou art Lord of all things, and that there is no man that can resist thee, which art thou Lord.
I thought we had free will though. Right? Go ahead.
I was about to say that. Verse 12. Thou knowest all things, and thou knowest Lord, that it was neither in contempt nor pride, nor for any desire of glory that I did not bow down to proud Aman. Man.
Read that again.
Yeah,
All
read.
right. Thou knowest all things, and thou knowest, Lord, that it was neither in contempt nor pride, nor of any desire of glory that I did not bow down to Aman.
So he said, hey,
Said
man.
to a proud Aman.
So proud
proud
Haman,
Haman.
right. He didn't do it for his own pride or his own glory. We don't read about Mordecai because he wanted to be read about. He did it because he ain't bowing down to no damn heathen, man.
Órale.
We gotta all have that spirit when they try to come after us. You know it's gonna come, man. We ain't, hey, y'all can put me to death right now. I'm not bowing down.
Just do it because you
I
want
can
to do
put
it.
you to death.
Yeah, God. But we know that as far as like going to war with Esau, that's not our thing. That's his blessing.
You mean
Our blessing is what?
commandments?
All I'm saying is,
What is it?
The commandments.
You saw
Our
what-
blessing
you
is
saw
the
what
commandments.
The Maccabees did.
They did, but they did that because they had the Most High, right?
Well, that's the only way you roll.
Right. I'm not disagreeing with you.
I'm not disagreeing.
That's the only way you gonna roll, right?
Man, like I said, man, I ain't gonna tell none of them to put me to death. I'm gonna be trying
Well, they gonna do it,
to
and
quit.
whether you tell them or not, they're gonna do it.
Our blessing is
Hey,
the
they gonna
covenants
do you.
and the commandments.
That's it.
They ain't doing me.
The covenants and the
I'm
commandments.
gonna
That's
be
our
left
blessing.
behind.
That's right. All right, go ahead.
Verse 13. For I could have been content with goodwill for salvation of Israel to kiss the sole of his feet, but well, that's Caleb right there. For I could not been content with goodwill for salvation of Israel to kiss the sole of his feet,
Right.
but I did this that I might not prefer the glory of man above the glory of the Most High. Neither will I worship any but thee, O Most High.
Man.
Neither will I do it in pride.
Right.
And now, O Most High, King, spare thy people, for thy eyes are upon us to bring us to naught. Yea, they desire to destroy the inheritance that have been thy from the beginning. Despise not the portion which thou hast delivered out of Egypt for thy own self. Hear my prayer and be merciful unto thy inheritance, neither our sorrow into joy.
Turn our sorrow into joy. Just slow down when you're reading.
Turn our sorrows into joy, that we may live, O Lord, and praise thy name, and destroy not the mouths of them that praise thee, O Lord. All Israel is in like manner cried most earnestly unto the Most High, because their death was before their eyes.
You know, man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. This is just Zechariah 13.
Okay. Bring it out.
And it said, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but that third part shall be left therein. And I will bring that third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. And they shall call my name, and I will hear them, and I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God. That's why I'm at with it, man.
That's right.
There ain't no way in hell like
Bring
they
that
ain't got a right to kill us, man.
That's right.
They don't.
Hey, but Esau's gonna try to
we
do
got like 2 more
Yeah, but
chapters.
if you ain't got nothing, I mean, if you just gonna bend over and take it.
Well,
Hey, I'm gonna fight, but I'm gonna die like a warrior, though.
And look, the sun.
if you're a slave, you're gonna die.
All right, we gotta get back because the sun almost down.
Chapter 14.
We got 3 more chapters.
Esther chapter 14. We're almost there, man. Beautiful.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Good precept, though.
Esther chapter 14, verse 1.
That was Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. He mentioned.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that'd be what he said.
For
right.
the people watching at home.
Online.
Queen Esther is also being in fear of death restored unto the Lord. Verse 2, and laid away her glorious apparel, and put on the garments of languish.
Hold on.
Wow.
So, read that again, verse 2, real slow.
All right. And laid away her glorious apparel, and put on the garments of anguish and mourning, and instead of precious ointments, she covered her head with ash and dung.
And what?
And doo-doo, dung.
She put doodle on her head.
What kind?
That's mourning right there.
There was no pride in them, man.
Back in the days,
There wasn't no pride in
It says
them. They bowed to the Most High, man.
That's right. And that's how you born. It says she took.
Dog doodle on your
was
head.
it human or animal?
Man, that's questions doting about. That has nothing to do with. We don't
But it
know.
wasn't human.
You are human.
We don't know. They don't say.
It wasn't.
Go ahead.
All right, and done.
9 times
Uh-huh.
10.
And she humbled her body greatly. Amen. And all the places of her joy, she filled it with her torn hair.
Man, go ahead.
Just gonna go in there and take a shit.
Verse 3.
And she prayed to the Most High of Israel, saying, O Lord, thou art thou only are our king. Help me desolate.
Desolate.
Help
Hey,
me.
yo. Hold it down. Hold it down, man. Come on.
Desolate woman.
Help me desolate women which have no keeper but
No
thee,
helper.
but no helper of me but me.
Uh-huh.
For my danger is in my hand. From my youth up, I have heard in the tribes of my family that thou, O Lord, tookest Israel from among all the people,
That's right.
and all fathers from all their predecessors, and for perpetual inheritance, that thou hast performed whatsoever thou didst promise them.
Right.
And now we have sinned before thee. Therefore thou hast given us into the hands of our enemies, because we worship their gods.
Because we did what?
Because we worship their gods, O Most High, thou art righteous. Nevertheless, it is satisfied them not that we are in bitter captivity, but they have stricken hands with their idols. They that will abolish the things that thou with thy mouth has ordained, and destroy thy inheritance, and stop the mouth of them that praise thee, and quench the glory of thy house and of thy altar. And open the mouths of the heathen to set forth the praise of the idols, and to magnify a fleshly king forever. O Lord, give not thy sepulchre unto them that be nothing, and let them not languish at our fail, but turn their devices upon themselves, and make him an example that has begun this against us.
Right.
Remember, O Lord, make thou self known time of our affliction, and give me boldness, O King of the nations, and Lord of all power. Amen.
Okay.
Give me eloquent speech in my mouth before the lion. Turn his heart to hate that fighteth against us, that there may be an end of him, and all of them that are like-minded to him.
Right.
But to deliver us from thy hand, and help me, and that I am desolate, in which I have no other help but thee. Thou knowest all things, O Lord. Thou knowest that I hate the glory of the unrighteousness, and I abhor the bed of the uncircumcised, and of all the heathen.
So they be talking about y'all can't hate these people, and y'all can't hate nobody.
I don't know where you get that shit.
They don't read the Bible. That's where they get it from. Go ahead.
If they do, they don't care.
Well, they Christianized.
I'm gonna say this: they never read it. When I was in the Christianity part of the Bible. I never knew it was this much killing.
Yeah,
people, the Israelites killing, the Edomites getting killed, and God hated Esau. I never knew none of that. I just took on the John 3:16. And
you was tripping. You was too busy doing your.
Yeah, I was doing my.
Good. All right, verse.
But they never bring out the
verse 16.
Verse 16.
Verse 16. Thou knowest my necessity, for I abhor the signs of my high estate, which is upon my head, in the days where I showed myself, and that I abhorred it as a menstruous rag.
He did what?
And that I abhorred it as a menstruous rag.
It's like a tampon.
Right.
Ancient tampon. And that I wear it not when I am private by myself. That thy handmaid has not eaten at Amon's table, and that I have not greatly esteemed the king's feast, nor drunk the wine of the drink offerings. Neither had thy handmaids any joy since the day that I was brought, neither to this present, but in thee, O Lord God of Abraham, O thou mighty God above all, hear the voice of the forlorn, and deliver us out of the hands of the mischievous, and deliver me out of my fear.
Man, y'all see the spirit that Esther was in?
Yeah.
She said, I don't even wear they stuff when I'm in my private. I throw my garment on for the Most High.
Yeah.
I got to wear this monkey suit with them, and when I get home, I put my dress on.
Yeah.
And I hate their ways like a mistress rag. That's the spirit.
Don't you?
Ancient temple.
Absolutely.
Don't you hate that way?
Absolutely.
I was just on the road with the Jake dude. I was just feeling his ways. I couldn't stand it. Once you grow in this word, man, you don't want nobody to take you away from it. When you around the Jake, you see them doing stuff that you don't feel it no more. So Even just with the Jake side.
I had him call me today. And I was like, man, I'm going to a high holy day, man. I'm kicking it with my brothers. I said, it's college. I'm like, man. So I know what you're saying.
Shalom, brother Elodio. Shalom, brother Joseph in the building,
Oh,
man.
shalom, brother. Shalom.
Come.
Shalom.
All right, go ahead.
All right, verse 15 and 1. And upon the third day, when she had meant her prayers, and she laid
When she ended her prayers.
she ended her prayers, and she laid away her
So she
mourning.
had been praying for 3 days, man. Fasting, mourning. Good.
And being glorious, adored after she had called upon the Most High, who is the holder and savior of all things. She took 2 maids with her, and upon the one she learned as carrying herself daintily, and the other followed, bearing up her train, the long skirt, and she was ruddy through the perfection of her beauty, and her countenance was cheerful and very amiable, but her heart was in anguish for fear.
Man, she was faking it. She was hurt, but she had to make herself look good and all of that.
And where it says when the other word ruddy, when they say ruddy is so-called white skin, they're talking about they was ruddy.
No, that means beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they take that out of the context.
Yeah, it's the you gotta know the context is talking there.
That's real.
Reddish too.
But not always, because ruddy sometimes means
Don't mean white.
no, it don't mean white.
Sometimes
It
when
means
you
red.
blush.
Sometimes it means red. Sometimes it means like handsome or beautiful.
Yeah.
So you got to know the context.
Verse 6. Then having passed through all the doors, she stood before the king, who sat upon his royal throne, and was clothed with all his robes and majesty, and glittering with gold and precious stones, and he was very dreadful. Then lifting up his countenance, that sworn with majesty, he looked at very fiercely upon her, and the queen fell down, and was pale, and fainted, and bowed herself upon the head of the maid that went before her. Then the Most High changed the spirit of the king into mildness, who in fear leaped from his throne, and took her in his hand, till she came to herself again, and comforted her with loving words, and said unto her, cupcaking her, Esther, what is the matter? I am thy brother. Be of good cheer. Thou shalt not die, nor through our commandment be general come near. And so he held up his golden scepter and laid it upon her neck, and embraced her, and said unto me, then said she unto him, I saw thee, my Lord, as an angel of God, and my heart was troubled for fear of thy majesty. For wonderful art thou, Lord, that thou countenance is full of grace. And she was speaking, she fell down for faintness.
She was playing the king.
Yeah, playing him like a fiddle.
She's a cold joy.
But you see, that it said the Most High changed his heart.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, when he sing
Fake the funk, right?
Right.
3 days
Oh, my
fasting.
baby. She was out there kicking it, looking good, boy.
She done herself up. Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Then the king was troubled, and all his servants comforted her.
Uh-huh.
16.
Esther's a
From 9 to
cold
12.
joy.
I
Man.
like this.
Feels good.
Esther's coat.
Let's go. Chapter 16.
All right. The great king of Xerxes unto the princes of the governors, and of 127 provinces, from India unto Ethiopia, and to all our faithful subjects, greetings. That's how you know the Israelites are scattered through India and Ethiopia too. Many, the more often that they are honored with great bounty of gracious princes, the more proud they are waxen, and endeavor to hurt not our subjects only, but not being able to bear abundance to take in hand of practice also against those that do them good, and take not away thankfulness away from among men, but also lift it up with glorious words of lewd persons, that they were never good, that they think to escape the justice of the Most High, that they seeth all things that hateth evil.
Right.
Oftentimes also fear speech of those that are put in trust to manage their friends' affairs has caused many that are in authority to be partakers of innocent blood and have enwrapped them in remedies of calamities, beguiled with the falsehood and deceit of their lewd decomposition, all disposition, innocency, and goodness of princes. Now you may see that this, as we have declared, not so much by ancient histories, as ye may, if ye search what thou has been wickedly done of late through the pestilent behavior of them that are unworthy placed in authority. And we must take care of the times to come, that our king may be quiet and peacefully for all men, both by changing our purposes and always judging things that are evident with more equality and with more equal proceedings. For Aman and a Macedonian, the son of Amadatha, being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood and far descendant from our goodness, and as a stranger received of us.
So you see, by the time that they was writing this, right, the Agagites were being classified as Macedonians.
Greeks.
That
homosexual Alexander come from.
Alexander's a Macedonian.
Homosexual.
From Philip.
Verse 11.
Uh-huh.
He had so far obtained the favor that we show towards every nation, as that he was called our father and was continually honored of all the next person to the king.
Of all men.
Of all honor of the next person to the king, but he had not bearing his great dignity when about to deprive us from our kingdom and deprive us of our kingdom and life, holding by manifold and cunning deceit through of us the destruction, as well as Mordecai, who saved our life and continually procured our good, and also of the blameless Esther, partakers of our kingdom with their whole nation.
That they call Esther what?
Blameless. Perfect.
Go ahead.
Partakers of our kingdom with their whole nation. For by these means he thought, finding us destitute of friends, to have translated the king of the Persians and the Macedonians.
So if she was blameless, she was perfect.
Yeah. Brought up by Mordecai, and that was a God-fearing man, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying she was freaking perfect.
Right.
So it was
in more ways than one.
That's been perfect.
Huh?
Her and Job.
No,
there was other.
As well.
Enoch.
Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, they were perfect.
Yeah,
Yep.
they were perfect.
Also,
Noah,
Elizabeth and
Zechariah.
Oh yeah, John the Baptist's parents.
When you say perfect,
Ruth.
you mean to have never broken the law.
Well,
She was in that land, so
yeah.
To have never broken the law.
Not Ruth.
she was in the land before she came to the Israelites. So they weren't perfect people.
Yeah.
They're keeping the Moabites
But
custom.
Ruth
Yeah,
was
but
and is an Israelite.
Yeah, she was.
No, she is.
She is, yeah.
But she ain't here no more. That's why I said.
She here.
She walking around, but we don't know who she is.
I know she could be you.
Maybe she
Nah. You keep the same gender.
No, I'm just saying.
God.
Hey,
Shalom.
she's running a 24-hour
Shout out to
fitness.
Examine Yourself. Shalom to the Akim.
Shalom, why don't you put us in a picture? Can we get in the video?
Nah, only the ones that's righteous. No, I'm just playing. I was gonna do that at the end. I was
do it
gonna,
right now.
I was gonna do that at the end.
Wait.
Because we gotta finish before the sun goes down.
You gotta finish, man.
What verse did you leave off? 14 or 13?
No, 14.
He left off at 14. He had
14.
15 now.
Okay, yeah, 15 now.
All right, but we have additions of Esther 16 and 15.
Oh, no, 15
And we
next.
find that the Jews whom this wicked wench have delivered to utter destruction are no evildoers, but live by most unjust laws, and that they be children of the Most High, and most mightily living God, who hath ordered the king both unto us and to our good progenitors, and to the most excellent manner. Wherefore ye shall do well not to put in execution the letters unto you by Aman, the son of
Amadata.
Abagata. For
Wow.
he
He said alpaca. Go ahead.
18.
For he, I know 18. For he that was the workers of these, and hanged it at the gates of Susan with all his family. God who ruled all things speedily, rendering vengeance to him according to his desert. Therefore he shall publish a copy of this letter in all places, that the Jews may freely live after their own laws.
After their own law.
Man.
Right?
Man.
And ye shall aid them, that even the same day, being in the 13th day of the 12th month of Adar, that they may be avenged on them who in time of their affliction shall set upon them. For the Almighty God has turned to joy unto them the day wherein the chosen people should have perished.
Mm-hmm.
Yea, shall therefore among your
Wait, read
sons.
21 again. Bro.
Okay, 21. For Almighty God has turned it into joy unto them the day wherein the chosen people should have perished.
I'll read it. Verse 21. For Almighty God hath turned to joy unto them the day wherein the chosen people should have perished. So that was the day we were supposed to go into. That's because you be chasing them. So it says in 21, this is the same day we were supposed to get killed. The Most High turned it into our memorial.
Yeah.
22?
Verse 22. Ye shall therefore among your solemn feasts and keep it a high holy day, see, with all feasting. So we got to keep these laws, man. We got to keep these feast days. There's no other feast days above other feast days.
Just go ahead.
That both now thereof after there may be safely to us, and that the well-affected Persians, but to those which do conspire against us a memorial of destruction. Therefore, every city and country whatsoever which shall do not according to these things shall be destroyed without mercy and without mercy, with fire and with sword, and shall be made not only unpassable for men, but also most hateful to the wild beasts and the fowls forever.
God.
So in other words, man, we can get out of this story.
Verse 22.
If you just keep faithful to the Most High.
Verse 22, there's something important.
Everything gonna work out.
Verse 22, something important there. Look, you shall therefore among your solemn feasts keep it a high day with all feasting, because the 15th day, the second day of Purim, is the full moon, which is the Sabbath.
That's right.
See, that's why it's a high holy.
Hey, that's a good. Read that one more time. Read it again for the people.
Esther chapter 16, verse 22. You shall therefore among your solemn feasts keep it a high day.
You see, it says a solemn feast.
Solemn feast, a high day with all feasting.
Mm-hmm.
The Sabbath is a high holy day. Why does it say high? Because it lands on the 15th, which is a high holy day of full moon.
And it tells you
it's a Sabbath if you know the understanding of the times.
Con, ate the water, brother. Call you out if you got the beanies, man. That's what's up, man. We'll get in touch. The water for that. And roof is a controversial thing. I understand what you're saying. We'll get into that too. But all praise to the Most High, man. I'm glad you came over. Let me give everybody a shout out real quick. Hey, so with that, man. With that concludes it, man. That was a beautiful 3 days.
That's right.
We talked about a damn heathen getting his head chopped off with his tongue and his shoulder, right? Yeah. We talked about another heathen getting hung with his whole family because he wanted to hang Mordecai.
On the stuff that he built.
The gallows that he built, man. Most High flipped it.
Yeah.
And then we read about Esther, how she was a beautiful, what you call her?
Woman.
She was perfect. In more ways than one. In more ways than one. All praises to the Most High. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. All right. Let everybody do a shout out, man. Brother
Shout out to the elder. Shalom.
God, Brother Caleb.
Shalom.
Caleb, show that love, man.
Shalom.
Brother Harrell.
Shalom.
Harrell looks confounded. Why you looking like that, brother?
Come on, Harrell.
Harrell trying to look sexy over there. That's why he got his glasses. He put it in. Well, we got the brother. He did powerful.
He tried to. Shalom. Hey, you trying to put his glasses?
Shalom, brothers. Stay calm.
We got Brother Lloyd. Brother Yaquab over there.
Yaquab. Hey, Yaquab, we need you.
Good.
Stop playing with your hands.
Brother Yaquan, right
There he is.
Good, man.
Double-edged sword, man. We growing. We trying to keep the commandments, keep the faith, and get an increase from the Most High, man. And with that, we're going to close it out and say, Kwame Yasharala.
Kwame Yasharala.
Kwame Yasharala.
Kwame Yasharala.
Kwame Yasharala.
Kwame Yasharala.
The Wadi Yahweh.
The Wadi Yahweh.
The Wadi Yahweh Shai.
The Wadi Yahweh Shai.
And finally, strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
Khan.
Double-edged
Dead
sword.
to America.
Ching, ching, ching.